So it's a real disservice when they walk into a clinic and say, "Doc, I want to lose weight," and we immediately say, "Well, you're eating too much. You got to cut back on what you're eating." And that disservice is because we immediately boil all nutrition down to this existence of calories. There is no question that you have to stop eating sugar and junk food and all this if you want to be healthy. But you have met people who eat sugar and junk food and everything and are not obese. So we need to get over our belief that calories equals obesity. And yet in this huge industry, multi-billion-dollar industry of diets and fad diets and doctor-driven diets and everything else, we continue to be fixed on this belief that calories equals fat. That is not true. You've seen it yourself, you've seen family members live a lifestyle that should, for all intents and purposes, look like obesity is related exactly to the calories they're consuming, and yet they're skinny. How is that possible? How is it possible that somebody can eat junk food and stay skinny, or eat as healthy as they possibly can and become obese? So the study in 2014 showed something pretty amazing. They took the bacteria out of the intestines of obese humans, put them into rodents, and within a month those rodents became obese eating the same food. Same calories, same everything, changed the bacteria from an obese human to the obese rodent, and things all shift to the same metabolism. They then took the bacteria from thin people and put those in rodents, and no matter what they did to those rodents, they couldn't overfeed them into the state of obesity. And so the extraordinary start point for a healthy body and healthy metabolism has nothing to do with the calories you're eating. It has to do with the bacteria that are in your intestines. So how the heck are you going to plan for that? How are you going to, as somebody who is struggling with obesity, start to transform your gut? The good news is you don't have to starve yourself into skinniness. You need to live yourself into skinniness. And how the heck is that going to happen? You're going to get out of your current routine. Whatever your routine is right now is what programmed the bacteria that are keeping you obese. You need to break out of that routine, get outside, start a garden, go hiking, go find some new territory of the ecosystem you've never touched. Change your bacteria. Here's an extraordinary thing for us to think about, is we share bacteria in a household. If you are a loved one of somebody who's struggling with obesity and you live with them, you need to change as much as they need to change. I see this happen very frequently. Parents will bring in a child who's starting to become obese and they're really worried about it. And they keep telling the child, don't eat this or cut back on calories and everything else. But in fact, it's the bacterial environment around that child that's starting to force this shift. So whether adult or child, stop thinking about them as an individual who's overeating and start thinking about them as somebody who's not connected to a healthy ecosystem or biome. And so what does that look like? Get outside, go to lots of different environments, and eat lots of variety. We're going to stop eating for calories and we're going to start eating for micronutrients. The micronutrients on your plate are represented by the color. If your plate looks like three colors, you got the yellow macaroni and a brown piece of meat and a little bit of green, you got three. In contrast, if you create a plate that's got radishes and peppers and incredible colors of quinoa that have 4 different colors of tans and browns all through that single grain, you got black rice, or you got incredible salsas and sauces and herbs that are throwing in there, you're eating the rainbow. Now your body is getting this incredible diversity of micronutrients. Not only do those fuel your cells for health, each of those micronutrients are importantly going to select for a very specific bacterial environment. And so the more micronutrients, the more color you can get on your plate, the more beneficial and diverse that bowel flora, the ecosystem within your gut, is going to be. And so start really having a passion for the color on your plate. I want you to start to think about eating much like an artist would think about its palette of colors that's going to go onto the canvas. You are painting yourself every time you make a meal. You are painting life and vigor into yourself with every plate you prepare. Think about that for your children's lunches. How many colors are you getting into their lunch? How many colors are you getting onto your plate at night? How many colors do you share with family when you get together? And so challenge yourself. When you walk into a grocery store, you know exactly what it looks like when you go into, one of these huge natural food stores that have these extraordinary produce sections that go on and on. It's like an explosion of sensory overload with the color. The white of a daikon radish, for example, that's such a just incredible backdrop to put on a plate. You get that bright white of that radish, and then you throw in some reds and blacks and purples all on top of that. what a miracle a beet is, or that rich green of the kale, or the collard, or the dandelion. Grab all of these varieties and put them back in your life. That's where you're going to rebuild that ecosystem that's going to get you from obesity, which is a narrow state, to this huge diversity of environment.